everybody, it's Kira and welcome back to my channel. So today I have my March wrap up and haul for you guys. So last month was the craziest month probably ever. It was such a weird month. So I started off the month just going about my everyday life here at school. I was looking forward to spring break. I had so many midterm. I think I had like 5 or 6 papers to turn in that were all midterms. So much going on. And then the coronavirus hit. So the week before spring break, so it was like the Wednesday before spring break started, my school decided they were going to cancel, or they moved everything online for just the week after spring break. So it was like the last full week of March was for sure going to be, was it the last full week of March? Yeah, the last full week of March I think was going to for sure be online, but that was it. And that was before the situation got really bad. So I went home for spring break, only expecting there to be there 2 weeks. And then things got much worse, and Green Bay closed everything and is online for the rest of the semester. So I tried my best to stay at home, but I was not mentally or physically prepared to stay at home. So I actually moved back to campus here a couple days ago. So I am staying here in Green Bay for the rest of the semester. Only one of my roommates is still here, and basically just my friend Natalie, who lives she lives across campus, but we're basically the only two. I have one other friend who's still here, but that's basically it as far as people on campus. I have never seen campus this empty in my life, even though we are a suitcase campus, so like we have a ton of commuters, and weekends it usually gets pretty dead, but obviously because the campus didn't require, but they asked everybody to move out if they could. And so it's been a whirlwind of a month, but I'm glad that it's finally over and I can start to get into a more normal rhythm of figuring out what online classes look like. Anyways, I had a pretty good reading month last month, mostly because like during spring break I actually had time to sit down and read. So I'll get into all of the books that I read. Actually, I'm just kidding. First, I'm going to do the books that I got this past month, because I ended up getting the Starbound trilogy by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. So it's These Broken Stars, This Shattered World, and Their Fractured Light. So I finished this series. I read it on audiobook. I deeply encourage you guys to read these on audio. They're so good. But I love them so much that I just decided to go out and buy them because I just loved the stories so much. So these are the only books that I bought in the last month. But Fierce Reads was doing a giveaway for Rebel by Marie Lu, and I won it. So that's really cool. This book is just gorgeous. Like, this cover, just trying to catch the light here, is really pretty, and I love it. And it also came with some art that Marie Lu drew and also signed, so that's pretty epic. I'll be honest, I haven't read this. I'm pretty sure this is from the Legend series. I haven't read it yet, but I want to. It is on my list. And so now I have the first book and the last book, actually, so I need to get around to reading it. But I'm very excited and thankful to Fierce Reads for the giveaway. Okay, those are all the books that I got in the month. So now I'll get into the books that I read, which the first two are This Shattered World and Their Fractured Light. So I finished These Broken Stars right at the end of February and then finished these at the beginning of March. This third one was definitely my favorite. I think the series got better and better as each book went along, because I was absolutely loving This Shattered World more than I had loved These Broken Stars. And then the third book came around and I was like, this is the best one for sure. So This Shattered World follows 2 different characters from the first book. So we follow Flynn Cormac and Lee Chase, Jubilee Chase. And they are on opposite sides of a war on this one planet. And things come to a head when Flynn ends up capturing Chase to try and get information out of her. And they end up working together, and it's so good. I love it so much. And then the third book, Their Fractured Light, follows 2 more different characters, who were my favorite. And it follows Gideon and who's the girl? Sophia. So this follows Gideon and Sophia. Gideon is a hacker and Sophia is a con artist, and they end up helping each other kind of randomly to get out of a sticky situation, and then they have to keep helping each other, and it's so good. And then like things from all three books come to a head in this third one, and everybody gets to see each other, and it's so cool. So I really encourage you guys to read Starbound Trilogy if you can on audiobook. I read them through Libby, which is connected to your library account. So if you can, please go read them. They're really amazing. Next up, I finished another series, and that is Love and War and All for One by, who is this by? Melissa de la Cruz, which is the second and third book in the Alex and Eliza trilogy. So these are following Alexander Hamilton and Elizabeth Schuyler Hamilton as they live their lives. I don't know what else to say. So the first book, again, I finished the first book in January, and then I was like, shoot, I have these from the library. I should probably finish these while I can, which now my library loans have been extended until the library reopens, so it's fine. I didn't really need to, but I'm glad that I did anyways. So I'm not sure what to say about these. They weren't like my absolute favorite. Like, I mean, I think they were the best trilogy like version that I've read of Hamilton's story, but the author messed with the timelines a little bit. So in the first book, at the very end, they get married, and so the second book is about them being married while the war is still going on, and then like their first couple years of marriage living in New York City, I think they live in. And then the third book has the whole scandal with, blanking on names right now, wow, with Mariah Reynolds, which, if you know anything about Hamilton, you know that that didn't happen for like years and years and years after they were married. But I don't know, it was interesting. They weren't my favorite. I'm just not really in a historical fiction mood, so I kind of had to like force myself to read them, which probably wasn't a great idea, but I finished them and they were fun and they were good books, so I'm glad about that. Next up, I read another new favorite, and that is Don't Read the Comics by Eric Comics? Don't Read the Comics. Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. I didn't really know anything about this going into it, honestly. I had heard of Eric from the podcast that he does with, oh my word, I think it's for Epic Reads. I'm like blanking on everything at the moment. My apologies. But so I started following him on Twitter, and I saw that he had a book come out, and so I requested it from the library, and I got it. So this follows a streamer named Divya and a gamer named Aaron, and they end up meeting virtually in this like in the game that they both end up playing, which is kind of like a space exploration game. Divya is a really famous streamer, and he is just like a gamer for fun kind of thing. And so they end up like striking up a friendship online because of this game that they play, and it is so good. It's a really cute like romance, but also talks about video games in a really positive light, but also shares some of the negative consequences that come with online gaming, especially with being a woman and an online gamer. There's a lot of talk of like Divya and her friend get harassed quite a bit by both in real life and online, and so that's part of her thing is don't read the comments, don't look at what people are saying because you don't really want to know. So it's really, really well done. There's a lot of like fun references in it. I'm not a video game person per se, but I'm learning more and more about them partly because of a class that I'm in, and also because like of this book, and also my brothers like to game, and so I've just kind of been like more curious about it. So this was a super fun adventure, and please go read it. It's really good. Next up, I read The Spies That Bind by Ally Carter. This is a like prequel to the first Gallagher Girls book, which I'm rereading. So it's available for free on the Audible Stories thing they have going on right now, which is really cool, which is how I listen to it. I'll link that down below. It's for free right now, but it's an Audible exclusive, so I would jump on that as soon as you can, if possible. This is just tells the story of Cammie as she first comes to the school and then meets Bex and Liz and kind of becomes friends with them first. and it's really fun just to see them like as 12-year-olds because the first book starts when they're 15, so they've already got a couple years of experience under the belt. So with this one, they're all brand new, trying to figure out what life at a spy school looks like. So it was really fun, really short, but really fun. And then the last book that I finished last month is I Tell You I Love You, But Then I'd Have to Kill You by Ellie Carter, which is the first book in the Gallagher Girls series. So I decided I wanted to reread this series just for fun, because I haven't read them in a while, so I read the first book. I'm really glad that the series gets darker as it goes on, because this first book is fun, but it's hard because the main conflict is Cammy finds a boy who is unaware of the spy school, and she kind of like starts to fall for him a little bit, and they have like a secret relationship going on for a little bit, but it's her trying to figure out like, can I make this work kind of thing. And she's 15, so like, of course, that's one of the biggest things when you're 15. It makes sense. But it's a really good start to the series, and I love the way that it sets up each of the characters as well. My favorite thing about the Gallagher Girl books is when, like, Ellie Carter will list, like, 3 separate items and say there's a story there but won't explain things. Like, it'll be like, I wish I'd looked up some of them, but it'll be like, Cammy thought about the time in the country in Italy with the uncooked spaghetti, a fork, and some duct tape, and leave it at that, and you're like, what happened? There's just like really random things that she throws in there, which I just think is so funny. Also, there's a running joke of learning how to kill somebody with uncooked spaghetti, which is where I just pulled that from, which I just think is hilarious. So it's a fun book about a girls' school for spies, and I just love the series so much, so I'm excited to read the rest of them. So yeah, those are all the books that I read this past month. Like I said, crazy month. I'm hoping that April will be like a little bit more chill. And if you didn't see, I'm participating in the Owls Readathon, so I'll link my TBR in the description below so you can kind of see what I'm hoping to get read in the month of April. If I manage to finish all those somehow, I'll keep reading the Gallagher Girl books probably. But yeah, I think that's all I have. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to follow me on social media, all my links will be in the description as always. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!